York police officers, they're brainwashed. Okay, most of them. Not all of us, thank God. They've been drinking too much of the Kool-Aid out of the juice containers that the department feeds them. Hopefully some of them will wake up and stop worrying about themselves and start worrying about the oaths that they took. And one of these days, maybe more of us come around.
Well, Marilyn, you know what happens historically, and I want to hear your view on this. When people only start caring about themselves, everybody else just cares about themselves and civilizations fall. We're going to destroy ourselves by going along to get along. At a certain point, that's what allows the evil to totally take over.
I hear you 100%, and that's why I'm probably one of the few that don't agree with the Kool-Aid mixing and the brainwashing.
So is there any discussion in the New York Highway Patrol about the military not just being now on the streets everywhere, but arresting citizens and citizens disappearing?
I haven't heard of anything to that respect. I'm former military as well, so I mean I have strong roots, and I'm just disgusted with the way things are going and how people just, like I said earlier, they just worry about themselves, and that's all they care about is their own little bubbles.
Well, the good news is Marilyn Burmis, who's guest host on the show, made some films here with us. He lives in New York, and he knows a lot of police he's friends with, and he says they're starting to wake up. And I talked to a lot of other police, they're starting to wake up. But I mean, what's the line in the sand? Is there, with the Highway Patrol people you know, is there any line in the sand? Will they confiscate the guns if they're told to? Will they go arrest political dissidents if they're told? I mean, is there anything they won't do?
That would be up to the individuals themselves to draw that line in the sand. I know I have my line, and I can only speak for myself.
Okay, do you ever hear people talk about a line in the sand? I mean, is there any discussion of the way this country's going?
Like I said, most of them are just the brainwash Kool-Aid factor, and mostly what they do is they worry about themselves and their paycheck every 2 weeks.
Well, Marilyn, you're a veteran and a peace officer in the Highway Patrol. I mean, I would imagine, have you thought about what's going to happen if they do try gun confiscation? That is not going to be a very good job to have.
No, it's not. And I'm hoping that my retirement comes before that.
I hear you. God bless you, Marilyn. I appreciate you having the courage to call in. We get some men police officers to call in, but a lot of times it's females. Men have been castrated to a certain extent in this country. I guess it's the new land of the castrated male, home of the Nelly male or something. Let's talk to Jerome, who's military in Virginia. Then we'll go to Cole and others. Jerome, what's your view on all this, this secret arrest, secret detention into Posse Comitatus?
Hey, Alex, how you doing? Hey, long-time listener, first-time caller. To get straight to the point, me and my friends, the guys I serve, we talk about this on a daily basis. And the thing is, I think there's more military people that will not go along with the arresting of citizens and things of that nature. I think more police on that case will, I guess until it starts to be turned on them. But I think the military, a lot of military actually listen to you. A lot of military, they do follow the orders. But, I think there's now a lot more military people I know that I'm serving with, I think is waking up to the fact that that they are being used as mercenaries in different regions of the world. And I think if it all came down to it, I believe that the military will side with the citizens, I think, for the most part. And I know that there will be those that won't at the beginning, I believe. But I do feel that we're in trouble, though, Alex, as far as that goes. I've been following you for years and been preaching, a lot of the same things that you talked about to a lot of people around me in my inner circle and things like that. And, of course, I was told, that I'm a tinfoil hat wearer, I'm a conspiracy theorist, things like that. And now, right now, they just call me Jostradamus, to be honest, because a lot of stuff is coming true. About the gold, the physical gold, give physical silver, everything like that. But the posse comitatus is I see it here because in where I'm at in Virginia, I'm really by the big naval bases and things like that, you know, and I see it every day, you know, with the checkpoints and things of that nature, the exercises that's going on, the helicopters flying around, the different, exercises that's going on, you know, around us. So I see it on a daily basis, and I see it growing on a daily basis. A lot of more night operations and flight operations and things of that nature. So,
there's a major gear up. This is in Stars and Stripes 3 years ago. They said, we're preparing to pull triggers on Americans. It's a new mission for us. We're quote, getting used to it. We're going to build up with a core of 4,000 up to 100,000. And finally, they want a standby force of 370+ thousand. I think it's 379,000. I mean, this is the Army speaking. And it had quotes by this colonel about pulling triggers. And then a week later, they pulled that quote out of the article in Stars and Stripes. But, I mean, I've been there. I've witnessed it. And I've got so much family in the military. And it doesn't matter if they're in logistics, in supply, in repairs, or in combat roles. They're all being given the auxiliary training for the first time ever. Some of them in 23 years. For riot control, cordoning, barricading cities. And I'm getting chills right now because you can see it. The global banks have taken over. They're going to stage events where it looks like you're fighting a real enemy. They're going to torture people, bring them out, and they'll confess domestic groups. And there's going to be a lot of rioting and stuff as the depression gets worse. And a lot of people, the cops are going to stand down. The military is going to come in and restore order, and that's going to set the precedent. Oh, look, the military's doing a great job. And then they say, those of you that criticize the end of posse comitatus, see, you're a bunch of idiots. Look, I can think like the enemy. I've studied them so long. I know how they're going to operate. And it's very simple. Our military men and women are some of the best people out there. I've met them. I know them. My family, right here in Texas, is military family. They're good people, but the leadership, it's like Hitler. The average German soldier was brave, moral. Most of them weren't Nazis, but you know what? They were serving evil. I mean, it's kind of like tires on a truck. The tires aren't evil, but when a psycho's driving it and tries to run over people on the street, it's those tires and the bumper that kill people. And the military and the police have to ask that. Are you going to be some mindless machine that does whatever you're told? This is the age-old question. And the story you tell is key. You've got, and I didn't know this when I started out 17 years ago. It'll be 17 years, in February I've been on air. In the 17 years I've been on air, the first few years I knew about a little bit of history. I knew about tyranny. I knew about the UN. That was about it. And I was kind of like a libertarian-style Republican, Ron Paul type. And I had no idea, Jerome or Josh, I had no idea that once you were attacked and things came true, people would listen to you. I just knew I had to be attacked because I had to warn people, and I didn't care about being attacked. But you're absolutely right. You've gone the last few years from being laughed at to now, they call you Jostradamus. And imagine when more of it, how many talk show hosts have heard me say they're going to get rid of posse comitatus and say they're going to arrest citizens indefinitely? I thought that would come after they got rid of posse comitatus. They just went for it all. Because most of Congress are crooks that have been part of the scams and the bailouts and the insider bid rigging and all of it. They're crooks. Just like when the cops go to a crook's house, sometimes they pull a gun and say, you're not taking me alive. The Congress has grabbed the military and said, you're not taking me alive, and is pointing it at the public now. This is declaring war. Now, just because they've passed this doesn't mean they're going to be able to implement it. We've got to say no to this. I know this is new, Jerome, but once you tell your buddies about this now, obviously you've been getting the training. Now they announce why you're getting all the training. Again, that's compartmentalization. True intelligence, though, is seeing the manifestation of the training. That tells you what it is without having the secret memo. Now we have it publicly. What are your buddies going to say now that this has happened?
Well, I think they're going to say, hey, you were right again. Because we saw this coming, like you say, the training and things like that, because we see some things on the inside that the public don't see first and things like that. And they're actually, nervous as well, because they see it is coming true, and they see, that the stuff that we actually learned about and found out about, 2-3 years ago, now it's come to fruition. Now they say, okay, so what are we going to do? And to be honest, a lot of them are retiring. a lot of them are getting out of the military so they don't have to follow those orders, so they can be, patriots to the Constitution and the oath that we took.
And by the way, and the government knows that. And this was 10 years ago in secret documents. Now it's public. In the MIAC and Homeland Security and all those reports, who they're training these other paramilitary cadres for and the mercenaries for. They have files on all the veterans, and they literally know your profile, and if you're a real American, they hate you. Obviously, who was Hitler's #1 enemy? Good people in the military.
Exactly. And we all know that, and we're, forming our coalition, of good soldiers, good Marines, good, sailors and airmen, throughout the nation. The different groups throughout the nation, Armed Forces Network, on the YouTube and on Facebook, and things like that. There are some good people out there. Hopefully, some more good soldiers will come back, some good soldiers will come home, and those that will be able to protect the nation, from the UN soldiers that, right across the border in Canada, right down the border in Laredo, Texas, and things like that.
Exactly. So, sir, God bless you, and I appreciate your call. Good to hear from you. We're going to go to Cole, and then, Ironhead's actually before him, and Martin and Philip and everybody that's holding. But I just want to say briefly, this is so important. The system can't get away with this if you speak out. And it's just like in the old movies where they say, hey, this is a scam, pass it on. Hey, this is a scam, pass it on. Real news and truth has a way of spreading once it gets going that is unstoppable. And it's real simple. Foreign banks have engineered our collapse. They plan on using the military for the takeover like a third world country. Pass it on. It's real simple. It's a foreign banking takeover, just like Europe. They're the ones that did all of this. They want to use the military and police against the public. Let's not go along with this. Pass it on. And the globalists are going to pick up that chatter and back off. Right now, they're testing, though. I cannot stress enough to you folks how much danger we're in. I mean, look at the bombing of Pakistan, the Russian ships, the cruise missiles getting moved into Syria. The Israeli former Mossad chief coming out and saying they're planning to attack. It's going to be a catastrophe. Of course it is. And politically, the globalists are going to stage terror attacks. I've been telling you this. It's coming. And it's going to be bad, folks. And they may come arrest people like Alex Jones. And, I've got to make a decision at that point what I do. Because it's one thing if they arrest you through a corrupt court system, at least then you can fight it. Now they could just arrest me and take me and blow my head off. Just put me in Nevada acid, and that's the end of it. And, it's like Stuart Rhodes said the other day with Oath Keepers. He said, there comes a point where they escalate to the point you don't have a choice defensively. It's really sad it's gotten to this point, and it's going to get... You're going to look back at this day as the good times. Just like I told you 6 months ago, you're going to look back at this day as the good times. We are a country going into judgment. God isn't going to let us kill 50 million babies, 51 million babies, and get away with it. Not going to happen. Not if we don't repent. And I mean really repent. And repenting means saying you're wrong and then going out there and fighting evil. The proof is that you're standing up against evil. The proof that you've got God in your heart is that you don't have fear. Those of you out there that are paralyzed with fear, I don't know what God you're communicating with. There's only one thing I fear, and that's God. The Bible says the beginning of knowledge is fear of God. And that's not like fear. It's fear of displeasing. It's fear of being bad. It's fear of falling. It's fear of joining all these evil people. Being in with those people. And realizing how close all of us are to that. How weak we all are. I promise, I got Nomi Prince, but I want to talk to Cole. I want to talk to Philip. I want to talk to Ironhead. I want to talk to Recon Marine, Martin, everybody. I'm going to get to you, I promise. John, go through and find out who's got to go the quickest right now, and I'll jam a few in, then we'll go to Know Me Friends, and we'll get to the others, I promise. I will go to you while she's on with us. In fact, I'll just bring her on, introduce her, get her take on things, take your calls, okay?
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones.